And victims of explicit deep fakes will soon be able to take legal action against people who create the images. A federal law criminalizing the sharing of those images was just signed. President Trump signing the Take It Down Act earlier this afternoon. Scripps News national security correspondent Liz Landers is live for us at the White House. And Liz, tell us a little bit more about what is in this bill and what it will actually do.
Yeah, Andrew, we were just in the Rose Garden a few moments ago for President Trump signing the Take It Down Act, as you mentioned. And this is a bipartisan piece of legislation that had been in the works really for years. Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Amy Klobuchar working on this with members in the House. Some of those folks, like Senator Cruz, were here today for this signing ceremony. And this bill aims to make sure that non-consensual, intimate images are not shared online anymore without people's permission. And what this means is that if somebody wanted to share revenge porn or even deepfake images that are created using artificial intelligence, that is now a federal crime. So this bill today codifies that into law. That may sound kind of obvious, Andrew, but before this, only states had passed this into law. Now it will be a federal crime to share those kinds of images without people's permission. The second part of this bill is that it also places some onus on social media companies. So now social media platforms have to create a mechanism by which users can report on their platforms that there is this non-consensual imagery on the platform, and within 48 hours, the platforms had to remove it. Meta, one of the largest social media platforms in the world, which owns, of course, Facebook and Instagram, they were in support of this bill. The CEO or the head of X, the president of X, was here today as well in the Rose Garden for that event. There are some critics, of course, Andrew, for this bill, people who have concerns about how this will be implemented and free speech concerns. But one of the biggest champions has been First Lady Melania Trump, and she got up there, introduced her husband. She thanked the bipartisan lawmakers for passing this, saying thank you for coming together to prioritize people over politics. And then President Trump, of course, making some remarks before he signed this into law. Listen to what he said about how damaging some of this deepfake imagery can be.
With the rise of AI image generation, countless women have been harassed with deepfakes and other explicit images distributed against their will. This is the wrong, and it's just so horribly wrong. And it's a very abusive situation, like in some cases people have never seen before. And today we're making it totally illegal.
And Andrew, while we've been talking about this, I've been talking about how this impacts young women. Experts that Scripps News has spoken with say that deepfake, non-consensual nude images are overwhelmingly made of women. And some of those young women were here today, President Trump giving them credit for helping to pass this bill into law. Andrew.
Yeah, and Liz, you've been covering the personal impact of these types of images and videos being disseminated, though potential life-shattering impact they can have. I imagine some of the women that you have talked to in the past are celebrating today. Can you tell us about their personal stories?
Yeah, Andrew, I caught up in the Rose Garden after the signing event with Francesca Mani. She is now 16 years old. She's from New Jersey. And when she was just 14, she was the victim of some young men in her high school using an image of her and making that into a deep fake nude image. And at 14 years old, Francesca said, "This is not okay. I'm going to use my voice to speak about this and to lobby lawmakers to get this passed." So she has been working with Senator Cruz and Klobuchar's offices now for the last 2 years. She said she's now 16 years old. She's a junior in college, and this is really translated into her being an advocate for AI literacy as well. And she told me after the ceremony, she's thrilled that this has been signed into law. This, of course, was the culmination of much of her work, but she wants to continue educating people, especially young people, about how AI can be a transformative tool. It can help you professionally, academically, but she also wants there to be AI literacy in classrooms. So she said that is her next step going forward. But Andrew, she, her mom, other young women who were here today, thrilled to see this signed into law. She was standing behind the president. She showed me the pen that he gave her afterwards. A really big moment for such a young woman who's only 16 years old. Andrew.
Yeah, I'm sure an important one for her and her family and the other women who have gone through that. Scripps News national security correspondent Liz Landers for us. Liz, thank you for that update.
Welcome everyone to Citizens of Animation's podcast, where I would like to bring out a new law that was enacted yesterday and signed by President Trump into law yesterday. It's called the Take It Down Act. The law is on the screen, and today we have a co-host on our podcast. And welcome, Charbatty. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Z. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. This is a law that I feel that every live streamer on YouTube should know about. What do you think?
Absolutely. They need to be informed of the changes because it's going to be quite surprising to some of the ones out there. I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Well, on the screen we have the law. Could you give us, maybe just read a little bit of the law that's on the screen, and then we'll go into our podcast?
Sounds great. Yeah. Let me start off with Section 1, the short title. This act may be cited as the tools to address known exploitation by immobilizing technological deepfakes on websites and network acts, or the Take It Down Act. Section 2, criminal prohibition on intentional disclosure of consequential intimate visual depictions. A, in general, Section 223 of the Communications Act of 1934, 47 USC 223 is amended. Number 1, by redesignating subsection H as subsection I. And number 2, by inserting after subsection G the following. H, intentional disclosure of non-consequential intimate visual depictions. Number 1.
So I'll do number 1 for you, Char. Definitions in the subsection include consent. The term consent means an affirmative, conscious, and voluntary authorization made by an individual free from force, fraud, duress, misrepresentation, or coercion. B, digital forgery. The term digital forgery means any intimate visual depiction of identifiable individual created through the use of software, machine learning, artificial intelligence, or any other computer-generated or technological means, including by adapting, modifying, manipulating, or altering an authentic visual depiction that, when viewed as a whole by a reasonable person, is indistinguishable from an authentic visual depiction of the individual. In other words, if they use AI, it means that they're fucked also. So, if you're on the screen, and let's say you made an AI of yourself whacking yourself off, right? That's what Section B covers.
Correct.
This law is very intense, and I am telling you that it may not cross international boundaries, but to all the porn bombers into the United States, this means up to a 2-year federal prison term and a federal felony on your record for the rest of your life. So when you go to get an apartment, you go to get a job, and the employer looks it up on E-Verify, it's going to pop up saying that you have a federal felony for being a pornographic porn bomber.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Char?
I think that's big time needed with the way things are going nowadays.
It is needed. And, this is a call to action, and not many people know about this. So, I'm going to tell you what happened to me, Char. Would you like to know what happened to me?
Yes, please.
So, I was out there minding my own business, right? I'm streaming, I'm creating, and doing what I love. And then out of nowhere, I invited this person up on my stream. He flashes my audience with a digital equivalent of a war crime. That's what happened to me. Not once, not hypothetically, I got porn bombed on a live stream. And you know who got punished for it, Char? Me. I did. YouTube dropped a strike on my channel like I invited it. Like I sent out a formal dinner invite to a pervert with a webcam, Char.
And while the platforms scramble to protect their brand image with AI filters and keyword triggers, the victims' real people get steamrolled. Something changed on May 19th, 2025, when President Trump signed into law a federal act aimed directly at people who abuse the internet to distribute revenge porn and deepfakes. It's called the Take It Down Act. And this time, the law is on our side.
So let's rewind, right? As I was saying, I'm on a live stream. I'm chatting with my viewers, some of who I have known for years. We're vibing. Then suddenly the screen explodes into an X-rated chaos, right? And it's just not a clip. Oh no, this creep was live. He intentionally broadcast himself doing things I will not describe because we're not that kind of show. And it hit my channel like an atomic bomb. And you know what, Char? You know what YouTube's response was? A strike, a violation warning. No context, no justice, just this goes against our community guidelines. As if I posted it, as if I wanted that content anywhere near my audience. It was like being mugged and then ticketed for jaywalking while running away, Char.
Unfortunately, this isn't rare. The porn bombing is a weapon now. Weaponized humiliation, weaponized censorship, and worse. The people brag about it online, in forums, in Discord. Hey, I got another streamer banned. It's like a damn video game. But they don't realize or didn't. What they didn't realize or didn't is now they're going to be held accountable legally and federally.
So, Char, what does this law actually do, Char?
Well, what this law actually does is the Takedown Act makes it a federal crime to knowingly publish or even threaten to publish non-consensual intimate content. That includes real images or videos, AI-generated deepfakes, and yes, live stream porn attacks. This law didn't just slide through quietly either. It'd been a massive bipartisan supported base passed the Senate unanimously and passed the House 409-2. For once, both sides agreed that enough is enough.
Finally, Char, finally. Something that doesn't feel like empty lip service. This law carries real teeth. You pull this stunt now, and you're looking up to 2 years in federal prison for adult content. 3 years if a minor's involved. And no, it doesn't matter if you're hiding behind a VPN. If the feds find you, they'll dig you out like roaches from drywall, Char.
And the platforms, they're not off the hook either. The law gives the FTC enforcement powers. Platforms must remove flagged content within 48 hours, prevent reposts and duplicates. They need to take direct responsibility for policing this content. So there's no more oops or algorithm missed it kind of excuses. They're in the spotlight now too.
So, what happens? What can you do if this happens to you? So, you've been hit. Here's what you do: you don't panic, you document everything. Grab screenshots, save chat logs, get usernames, timestamps, channel links, whatever you can before the platform erases it or the troll deletes their account. Then, sure, what should they do?
They need to end their stream immediately. Report the incident by using YouTube's official tools But don't just stop there. File a police report. If it's a crime, it's a crime now. It's not a prank. If possible, talk to a lawyer or at the very least a victims advocacy group. This law is new, but it's built to protect creators, educators, and streamers from exactly what happened to you, Citizen Z. So we need to use it.
And don't let some bot in support gaslight you into thinking it was your fault. You didn't ask for it. You didn't allow it. And now, legally speaking, they can't ignore it either. So, Char, what's the bigger picture? What's the cultural shift on this?
Well, we're at a turning point. For years, digital abuse has lived in the gray zone. Platforms didn't want the legal heat. Law enforcement didn't have the tools. And victims, well, we were left to fend for ourselves in silence. That silence is ending.
That's right. And you can't separate the digital from real anymore. Online abuse is real world harm. It leads to trauma. It leads to lost income. It leads to reputational damage. And sometimes, the worst, this law is more than just words. It's a recognition that what happens online can actually destroy people's lives offline, Char.
This is about setting a new norm, one where predators don't get a free pass because they used Wi-Fi instead of a weapon, where consent matters everywhere, and where live streamers, educators, artists, and kids can finally have a legal shield.
So here's my call to action. If this happened to you or someone you know, don't let it slide. Don't just move on. This law is your tool. Wield it. Bring the hammer down. And let every keyboard coward out there know we're done being your punching bags. And did you know what else sure about this law is? Is that this law also backdates actions. This law can go back 6 months ago and charge the people. And Trump said, quote unquote, in a press conference, and people, if you don't believe me, there's a lot of YouTube content on this. He said he is looking to make an example of these people who porn bomb. If you're one of the unlucky ones who gets found for porn bombing, they are going to use you as an example of what it's like to be charged with a federal crime and go to federal prison. So what do you say, Char?
Well, we need to speak up. We have to document it. We need to share this episode. We're going to be putting the links in the description for legal resources, reporting tools, and where to file a complaint.
This was Citizen Z with Citizen Z Animations, and my co-host is...
Sure.
And we're not going anywhere, and neither is justice. So I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Char, do you have any final words on this before we go?
Yeah, once again, I will say, please be sure to share this with your friends online so they know what's going on. There's not going to be an excuse anymore.
And you're right, there is not going to be an excuse anymore. So, to all the porn bombers out there, you have been warned. And I am telling you right now, Trump is looking for people to hang for this. He has stated it publicly. He stated it publicly yesterday in a video conference. He is looking for people to hang on this. I am telling you. And YouTube is his main focus. So I'm just letting you know, man. And if you don't believe me, go look at it for yourself. So, with this, I'm ending the podcast. Thank you for joining me today, Char.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This is very important.
It is. And Everybody out there, have a great day.
The neon still hums on the corner. The jukebox still sings in the back. But the faces I knew from the old days, well, most of them never came back. Johnny still tells the same stories, though his hair's gotten whiter with time. And the waitress named Sue, she just laughs and says, guess we all gotta find ways to shine.
And the old piano still whispers like it's got something left to say. Through the laughter and whiskey, it's still playing for time every day.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Play us a tune we all know. One for the dreamers, one for the lost, one for the fools on the road. Tommy still leans on the bar rail, but he don't talk about moving away. He just sips at his beer and remembers how he swore he'd be leaving someday. The old man in Bill's favorite corner still raises a glass to the past. And every now and then someone asks me, do you ever think this song will be your last? And the old piano still whispers like it's got something left to say. Through the faces and voices, it's still playing for time every day. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Play us a tune we all know. One for the dreamers, one for the lost, one for the fools on the road. I guess we all chase something that fades. Some found their place, some lost their way. But as long as there's one soul left to sing, I'll be right here, still playing. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Play us a tune